Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and I have some pawn shop adventures and some stories behind the tools. I was just on a road trip for about 4 days, and I was able to hit a few other cities and check out a couple of pawn shops and see what was going on as far as tools. And here are some of the things I got. Tons of stuff I didn't get because the prices were about the same as retail or way close. And also a few rarer items that I almost never see. Actually, a couple of them I never see. So anyway, let's get started. First of all, I picked up this tool. This is a exhaust hanger tool. If you guys know what this does. Basically, it allows you to pop free the hanger mechanism for exhaust systems where there's this rubber double hold thing. I've done it by hand. It is a pain. I told myself I would always get one of these tools, just never got around to it, if you can believe it. But anyway, I looked close. It says, made in the USA, right here, warning to wear eye protection. I was looking at the handle. I quickly did a Google search, and that's one of the great things. You just jump on your cell phone. I did an image search. I figured it might be rebranded, but I was looking at not only, there are 4 rivets here, which gives this away, plus the design of the handle. This is a solid metal handle. And it turns out this is probably a Lisle rebrand. Or a Lisle. I don't know. It doesn't say. Lisle doesn't put their name on stuff. I don't know why. But made in the USA. Looked like a good one. They wanted $8. I got it for $7. So I figured that was okay. Most of the lowest price I could find anywhere online was about $20 to $23, somewhere in there. But that was on my list of tools that I swore I would get before I ever did another detachment of an exhaust system. Anyway, there it is. So even though it was just dropped in all the other tools, it looks pretty crude because they are, and it has no name on it. They weren't asking much, but that's what I ended up there. I got this. Check this out. This is a snap-on 7/8 wide chisel. Now, how this happened is I was looking through this box of junk chisels, it looked like, and anything you'd smash on. And I found this, and I looked at it, and if you look really close, this is an Enders A8. And I have no idea if Enders is still really in business or if they've been sold again or if they're producing much. But the Enders Tool Company is out of Minnesota. It's been around for a long time. It's a USA-made tool. And I think they're still making maybe Enders tools. I don't know. Somebody I'm sure knows, the history. But I thought that was kind of interesting. But I also saw this one, the Snap-on. And I knew this was an expensive one. I jumped on my Snap-on app. It's about a $60-some tool. But both of these have been ground off. And I assume they both came in from maybe whoever does this kind of stuff. This one's mushroomed, but I can easily dress that. This, it's like barely been hit. So I thought if they saw Snap-on, they'd charge me a premium. So I took this one up and I said, what are these old chisels cost? And the guy looked at it and said $1 a piece. And I thought, great, can I grab 2 of them? And they said, sure. That was done. $2 right there. So $5, $2. Went to another store. That was here. Went to another store, and I literally saw this sitting on a wall. Titanium stiletto hammer. They wanted $60. They left the tag on it for me, which is kind of nice. Looks like somebody's been bashing drywall with it. I have not cleaned it up yet. 14 ounce. I have a 10 ounce and just love it. Now, what you get by going to the titanium is you get a much larger head for comparable weight. So if I was like, the 10 ounce is almost a full-size head, even though it's a lightweight hammer. So you get a benefit. This is more of a framing hammer. You can see by the straight claw there, a ripping hammer, and really aggressive up here. It is not smooth whatsoever. Anyway, they were asking $60. It's been sitting around for a little bit, I guess. I don't know, maybe because it was hanging on a wall instead of in the pile of hammers. I said, what's the best you do? I got them to $50. That meant, okay, maybe 50's within my ballpark. These are about 100 brand new because of the wood handle. The grain angle, a little off from what I'd like, but oh well. And it's worn out there. But, you know, by the way, if you didn't know, these are made in China, these Stiletto titanium hammers. So I thought I'll set that, keep looking, and stumbled on this. Here it is, a Stiletto titanium bar, or kind of a nail puller pry bar. Excellent shape. Not a lot of damage on the top end. I'm going to dress that up. These are, you can see, somebody used it. Somebody loved it. But anyway, they were asking $50. It was like, how much? Oh, they could go down to 30. And I was like, wow, $30, $50. You know, I'm in. I went up and talked to people when I was ready to check out for both. I couldn't get it any better than that. So $80 for those two. And for those wondering, yes, I also already had a titanium and a stainless steel one, but I am going to actually move one of these into, as my pry bar, into my bug out bag. So there's that. So that was another win. Another, I saw this sitting in a pile of screwdrivers. This is an Ideal. Here I had seen this in the, looking at the Ideal display, like at Lowe's, waiting for it to close out. They usually sell this with a pile of bits for about $20. How much for just one of these bit drivers? It was like $1 again. You know, kind of like these chisels. By the way, I bet I can warranty this out and get a brand new $62, $63 chisel out of that thing. Or I can regrind it, but there's not a lot to work with there. Anyway, so I grabbed this. It actually is a really nice design. I had looked at it. I had wondered about it. Real solid lockup. Made in USA, this guy here. Has an unusual cap. This spins freely, but it also has a pop-up here. So if I want to drop bits in, slide them out and drop them in. It's kind of reminiscent of some old Craftsman's there, but I can get a few bits in there. Snap down the lid. I don't think this will last all that long, but for $1 for a USA made tool that sells for $20 or more on at Lowe's, that's fine. And then finally this guy here. Now this is a set of snap-on kind of universal or swivel sockets, impact sockets. And this is, I looked this up, it was the 207 IPFM. And this sells for a little over $400 for this 7-piece set. And I saw it sitting there inside a case, and I asked how much. And the guy, this is where the psychology comes into play. It was like, how much is that? And he looks at it, and he's like, you know, I think they had like $175 on it. And I was like, he was almost embarrassed. Like, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. I'd sell it for like $150, you know, and he's looking at me like trying to read my body language. Am I going to buy that, or is that an insult or something like that? And I looked at it, and I wanted to see him closer. Interestingly, what you can do with a lot of the impacts is you can see like how much wear there is versus not. I mean, the impact driver does that on the softer metal. So I was looking at it, and I thought, here's the, of all the ones, this is an 18, where is it up there? 18 millimeter here. And it's been used. In fact, one of the hardest use ones. And I thought, what uses an 18 that much? I don't know, not a Toyota. But it also has a 17. That was one of interest. I looked at that, and I'm not sure the 17's ever been used. Here is a 15. Yeah, the 15's been used probably quite a bit. Not a big deal. That's what they look like. In fact, if you have chrome sockets and they have that, it means somebody used it on their impact gun. 14, a little bit. Interesting. Okay. And then this is the 13. Obviously, it's been used. But then I looked at the 12. Very little use. And I thought 12, that's one of my most common. And then, of course, the 10 I always worry about. It's been used a little bit. Not too bad. I can smooth that out. And of course, Given that I buy a bunch from my Snap-on dealer, he'll of course warranty something like this. I just don't know why they had an 18 instead of a 19, which is interesting, except this guy used the 18. Interesting. He gave it to me for about 150 bucks. I thought, yeah, that's a lot, but it's been on my list. So I went ahead and got that. Anyway, those are my pawn shop adventures on this recent trip. And one of the things, again, as I mentioned in some of my other videos about shopping at pawn shops, is think about how you can either combine things to get a better deal. Watch for those, stellar deals, the things. It isn't maybe that this is such a screaming deal. It's I have never seen a wood-handled stiletto hammer for sale at a pawn shop. I've seen a couple of the full titaniums, and they did actually have one of those, but they wanted over 200 bucks for it. I have seen two of these, and here's the other one. So I've gotten both. Usually I can get them for around 30, 35 bucks. Yeah, it's a lot for a pry bar, but they're super light, and I use them for other things. And then, this is a good price, I think, for some swivel sockets like this, universal joint sockets. But I rarely ever see not only any of these, but especially in metric, and that aren't beat up. And they're still in the container with the actual paper. So, I don't know, somebody was a little bit more on the retentive side, and they actually took care of their tools. And then stuff like this. I see these kinds of things often, but they're not near the quality of the Lisle one here. And then also when you see piles of stuff, especially, in this case, chisels, it's worth digging a little deeper. And even if you see an ugly duckling like this, is to spin it around and look. There's some history here. And then there it is. ENDERS A8 is the actual model number. You can get the Enders catalog online, but it's all messed up here. I got this basically as grease for the wheels to get this for $1. And with that, Doc out.